Hello, everyone. I want you to welcome to my future learning project. My name is Stanton. I am a current student in the Capstone course here at Brew College, and I'm just going to take you through a little bit of what I learned over the course of this future learning project, my interview, and everything that I'd like to do in the future with this degree in higher education. So it's just always important to have a vision. Uh, Vision is essential for life, to make sure that things that you do come out well and they come to fruition. So I'm going to share a little bit of my vision that I have in this field with you right now. I have a 5-year plan. Um, right now, I'm trying to achieve my master's in higher education administration from Baruch, which is that nice little bear cat you see in the right uh, uh, corner of the screen, that nice little bear cat there. On the left is my undergraduate school, the College of Staten Island. That logo, that's where that's from, the CSI Dolphins. Um, I like to gain more experience in the field, so I'm looking right now to apply to different kinds of positions. Right now, I work as a transfer credit evaluator at LaGuardia Community College, but I'm looking to expand that role a little bit. Um, so that one day I can reach my goal of becoming either director of admissions or working as a vice president of student affairs, even up as high as being the president of university. But I know within 5 years, I'd definitely like to become at least the assistant director of transfer admissions. And of course, I'd like to compete in an education doctorate. The logo that you see at the bottom there is the Fairleigh Dickinson University Knights. I've already applied to enter their program in the fall of next year, so hopefully all goes well so I can achieve my doctorate. I think it's essential to get that degree and to move into positions that I think I might need to be in. Um, from all my research and all my of what I've seen, I don't really see anyone that's a vice president or a provost or even a president that doesn't have that terminal degree. So that's what I'm going to try to achieve. My interview, um, the interview was really good. Uh, I actually interviewed the current director of admissions at the College of Staten Island, a guy named Emmanuel Esperance, who I look up to because my time as an undergraduate student there, I worked with him as in new student orientation, and then I worked with him again in the Office of Recruitment. I was underneath his supervision, his leadership. Um, he's the current director of admissions at CSI, like I said before. But interestingly enough, he went from Brooklyn College to Baruch College, to the program that we're in right now, that I'm in right now. He initially started at Brooklyn College as a chemistry education major, and he switched to math. But during that time, he worked as a college assistant, and then he said that the leadership there at Brooklyn, they were really good about training him to become a higher education professional. So then he eventually got his master's in higher education in Baruch, and he's worked entirely in the CUNY system. So at Brooklyn, he worked in their office, admissions, and then he worked in undergraduate processing. He was the assistant director for undergraduate processing after he was a financial aid counselor and admissions counselor. He also was the assistant director for graduate admissions at College of Staten Island, and then he became the deputy director of admissions. And finally, he was the interim director before he became the full-time director of admissions at the College of Staten Island. So that was his path. The biggest takeaways I had from the interview were, as you see below, to diversify, to take risks that make more sense, and to understand your personnel. So right now, he said there's a lot of turmoil going on at the College of Staten Island, but he diversified his portfolio. As you saw before, he worked in different offices. So to me, I took away that you have to learn how to work in different fields in higher education, or at least different fields within the same office, so you know exactly how everything can operate when you become the director. So right now he's a director, but he's worked as a graduate admission counselor. He's worked as in recruitment. He worked in new student orientation. He understands all aspects of what he is in charge of. So he's an effective director because he can go to people and basically tell them, like, okay, this is what I would do if I was in a situation because I've already been there, working off of experience. Um, to taking risks that make sense, This was interesting because he basically talked about how there were staff members that were offered to him before to join his office, but he didn't want them to be in his office because he felt like they didn't have the skill set that he was looking for uh, in order to move forward and improve the admissions office at the College of Staten Island. And an opportunity presented itself to merge new student orientation with admissions, and he took it because he felt like it was a natural move for the department. And so I looked at that and I said, okay, that's great because he took a risk there, but it made sense for the department, right? And then understanding your personnel, it's critical, he said, to have relationship management. These are the critical skills he talked about: relationship management, having a comfortable setting, making sure that there's a lot of professional development, but there's also a lot of celebration when it comes to like people's milestones at work, people's anniversaries at work, birthdays. He always likes to celebrate those things because it creates a much better setting, he felt like, in the office. Um, and relationship management is so essential when you're the director, making sure that everyone's okay and how best to manage their workload. Of course, he talked about COVID and how that affected everything in the office as well. Of course, the negative was not being able to show off the campus because the College of Staten Island has the biggest campus in New York City. But it's worked out great where now they're moving into a hybrid setting, and it's a virtual office now instead of a real office. So he's now being able to reach more students because of the dual capability the office has. Yeah, and I learned a lot from the interview. It was really good, and he's someone that I really admire. I also asked him about being a minority in leadership, and he basically said that people didn't want him to take the job at the College of Staten Island, but he took it anyway, and it's worked out really great for him. And now he can bring that diversity into his office, and that's what I hope to do as a minority myself, in my future learning in higher education. So thank you for listening to my presentation, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day.